Okay. Goeiedag, good day, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world.
I've been looking around for salvation. I've been looking around for the truth. All around me I see frustration, and I looked all over till I found you. I sit and listen to your stories, and you're telling me, please don't worry. There's a lot in this world you should know, and love in life is where you should go. If you're looking for somewhere to go, if you're looking for someone to know, if you're looking for someone to guide you, then love in life will guide you.
Goeienaand, good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. And I apologize for that little glitch. Literally minutes before we went live, my Google Chrome went crazy and it just screwed my computer. So I rebooted my computer and now it's all good. All right, I have some huge news. And by the way, good evening, Loving Life family. You will have noticed we have a new header image on Loving Life TV. Rudy and I would like your feedback. If you like it, please press 1. If you don't like it, please press 2 in the side chat. Now, while you're doing that, I have a huge announcement to make tonight. Huge. As promised, our initial 14 contributing video channels are now listed with a huge addition to our Loving Life TV content, including South African history from Harry Boyens and Rudy Rousseau, secession of the Western Cape, including Cape Exit and the Cape Party, organizations like Boereligion and Patriots for Minorities, performers like Calais, and much more. Content is, after all, king. Of course, the focus on our content in our videos and our articles in the forums will be South African news and views. I will show you how simple it is to navigate and explore our contributing channels, which will soon be listed by category and in alphabetical order. Let's have a look at that. Okay, as you can see, there's the homepage of lovinglifetv.com. Now, to go into the new contributing channels at the top, you can see where my cursor is. I just click on contributing channels. And you'll notice we have a whole new page here. And you'll notice at the top the domain name is CC for contributingchannels.lovinglifetv.com. And at the moment we have 14 channels listed in here. And to navigate to any one of them, all you have to do is just simply click on the name, like let's say Boereligion. So I click on Boereligion, and it takes me to their channel on Loving Life TV. And to access any one of the videos, we just scroll through them, and you just click, and then you can play. It's that simple. And to go back to the main page, you just click on the logo at the top left, and that takes you right back to all the contributing channels again. Now, there are about 20 more YouTube channels covering South Africa that I'm now ready to approach to join us. My target is to have over 50 contributing channels on Loving Life TV, channels that will not be censored. If you have a channel covering South Africa or know of someone whose channel could fit into our framework, please email me. Please note, no e-beggars will be invited to our contributing channels. In the future, the integration of these video channels will be complete and include alerts to new videos as well as their upcoming live streams, so that in the future we should have almost continual South African news and views on Loving Life TV 24/7. That's the long-term goal, to be the most comprehensive news channel online when it comes to South African news. The forum page, managed by Nat, is currently being upgraded and will have a graphic header soon, in keeping with the Loving Life TV theme. And I see that everybody here likes the new header. Thanks for that feedback. We will stick with it. And I also want to shout out to Gareth, who's actually been personally involved in setting up the contributing channels. He's done a fantastic job there as well. Okay, our first sponsors will be appearing on Loving Life TV soon and include Dan Berryman's PDF book. If you have a business you want to promote or know of someone who should be advertising here, please email me at host@lovinglifetv.com. And I'll just put that here in the side chat for you. There you go. Next week, we will be ready to start sending out our daily emails to thousands of registered Loving Life TV subscribers, alerting them to live streams, new forum articles, and videos, all with direct links, as well as new participants or upgrades on Loving Life TV. These emails will be in your inbox when you get up every morning, South African time. So it's like getting your morning newspaper. You just click on that email and then you can run through all the new articles, the new videos, and select the ones you want to go and check out directly on Loving Life TV. All right, now that's the news. It's exciting, isn't it, guys? Now remember, this is just the start. We've just got 14 up there. Our target is to have between 50 to 100 contributing channels, all in categories like history, performances, whatever it might be. We'll have categories in alphabetical order. We'll have the contributing channels in there. So with a focus on South Africa. So this is all very, very exciting. All right, without any further ado, let me get our guest on tonight, Dr. Andre Hattingh. Here we go. Hi, Andre.
Hi, Scott. How are you doing?
Excellent, thank you. Excellent. I can't see you at the moment. I just see your little icon.
Hold on a second. Let me just see. I'm probably doing something wrong here.
That's okay.
It's times like this that I call in the wife.
Ah, I know.
Because,
Yeah. the techo in the house, you mean?
Yeah, there you go. Can you see me
Oh,
now?
yes. Now I see you. Fantastic. That's perfect. Now, Andre, you've had a very interesting year so far, haven't you? In fact, it's been, for our channel, it's been a very interesting year. Yeah, carry on, Andre.
Yes, that's putting it mildly, to be honest. Yeah, that's been a very, very interesting year, to put it very mildly. I think that this year and last year has been very tough for everybody, including you guys over there in Australia.
Yeah, well, the lockdown has been absolutely crazy. But anyway, you're a doctor, so you know more about that than I do. Now, we're actually covering a young man who walked 1,500 kilometers on a walk of faith from Howick in KwaZulu-Natal via Bloemfontein, and just on Sunday, last Sunday, he arrived in Cape Town after walking 1,500 kilometers.
Yes.
which is quite extraordinary.
Yes.
Now, you had a similar
Absolutely.
situation. We'll get onto that in a short while. But first of all, tell us about your organization, who you are, what you're about.
All right. We are Pediatric Care Africa. We call Pediatric Care Africa. We were formed in 2017 when I retired from active medicine, especially to form Pediatric Care Africa. Now, the promise to do this has been a long time coming, since 2000, 29 years. But I'm not going to bore you guys with that. What we do is basically we have a few programs. Our first thing, which keeps us very, very busy, and this is what we do on a daily basis, is to take children to the doctor. For example, you phone us and say, listen, I don't have any money, I don't have any medical aid, my child is sick, could you possibly assist? We assess quickly, and then we take your child to a local private GP or specialist, get your medication, of course, do all the x-rays and whatever else that we need to be done. If you're referred to surgery, then of course we arrange the surgery for you as well. We have our second program I want to discuss is our 1,000 surgeries for 1,000 children. Now, 800 of those surgeries are for children within the borders of South Africa, and 200 of those children will be outside of South Africa. That will be Namibia, Mozambique, Lesotho, and so forth.
Wow.
That is program 2, and that is a 15-year program. Last year, because of a COVID lockdown, unfortunately, we didn't make our target by a long shot. We have a target of between 70 and 100 surgeries a year. Last year, we managed, I think it was 24. So we are very much below our par, or what we're supposed to be. Our third thing that we do is, of course, as a pediatric organization, we feed children. What happens very, very frequently nowadays is the newly poor, people that had employment before, they start feeding their babies on bottle milk and food, and then they lose their jobs and they can no longer afford baby food. Baby food, as you all know, is very, very expensive. And unfortunately, once a child is on baby food, to my knowledge, it cannot go back to breastfeeding. So we have to help those children, and there's around about 350 of them in our province that they help every month. That is an enormous number of children. Then the fourth thing that we do is we respond to disasters in Africa, hence the name Pediatric Care Africa. Although we are based in Mpumalanga province in South Africa, and we do most of our work here, when there's a disaster, we respond throughout Africa, like the cyclone Idai in Mozambique. We gave out 102,000 doses of cholera medication. I did a number of surgeries myself there. I think it was 14 or 16. We did 50 tons of food and search and recovery, search and rescue, and those kind of things. So we do respond to disasters throughout Africa. We, of course, had 4 disasters inside South Africa, although not of the magnitude of Cyclone Idai, but our own small cyclone, which blasted the Limpopo province. Then, of course, we had the farms in the Free State that burned, hundreds of thousands of hectares burned down there. And then, of course, our biggest disaster so far is, of course, COVID-19. What we had to do when COVID-19, when we had the lockdowns in South Africa, now South Africa had very severe lockdowns, level 5 and 4, where no child could go to school. In the area we live in, there's a lot of these children who depends on that one meal a day that they get at school.
Right.
So the children, of course, have access to that. So to try and help these children and prevent them from getting growth stunted and starving to death, basically, we had to hand out 152 tons of food in the community in our area. And that is, we're a medical organization, so for us, that is a lot of food.
Absolutely.
And in a nutshell, that is what Pediatric Care Africa is all about. We're a non-religious, non-political organization, we're an NGO, and we try and help the children of South Africa as far and as much as we can.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. So, when did you start, and what was the motivation to start this?
We started officially in 2017, so this is our 4th year going. The motivation behind it was actually started 30 years ago. I just qualified, and they were looking for volunteers to go and assist the people in the genocide in a little country in Africa called Rwanda.
Oh, yeah.
I volunteered for weeks, but you have to keep in mind that was before Skype and Facebook and all those things, so you have very little knowledge. The only knowledge you had then was what you read in the newspaper, which wasn't much, I must admit. So when I got to Rwanda, in that month, 1 million people were killed.
Wow.
That's the official figures. The unofficial figures is very disputed, and to my recollection, there was 86 of that 1 million, 86,000 children actually died during the genocide. But for every one child that died, 4, 5, or 6 of them were severely injured, chopped with machetes, burned, hurt, stabbed, kicked, thrown off rocks, and nobody did anything. The United Nations were there at the time, but unfortunately they didn't do anything. The Rwandan government didn't do anything. Nobody seems to be able to want to help these children, running, crawling around helplessly by themselves with nobody helping them. And then I made a promise that one day, when my beard is grey, my children are gone for university and my house is paid, and of course my wife agrees, then I'm going to do something to help the children. And I've never forgotten that promise, that 29, 30 years ago. And in 2017, my wife and I decided that it's now time, and we established Pediatric Care Africa in White River in South Africa.
Right. Now, that's can you just spell that Pediatric Care South Africa? How do you spell that?
Pediatric as pediatric for children. Yeah. Pediatric Care Africa, but one word.
Yeah, pediatric.
The same as you will spell pediatric.
Okay, I think I've got
Africa,
it right.
Yes.
So it's PEDIA TRIC, pediatric, and then care.
Care, yes.
Yeah. And is it
Africa?
Yeah. Okay. All one word.
One word.org. So it's www.pediatriccareafrica.org.
Okay. I've just put that in the side chat. Okay. Great. Now.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. So basically, your focus is children
yes,
in South Africa. How do parents find out about your organization and what you do?
All right, there's a number of ways that we do. We do a lot of speaking on our local radios, and of course our local newspapers support us a lot. So we do feature in the local newspapers quite often, and then of course people see us in the field. But we get referral mainly from welfare departments, welfare officers, phoning us and say, listen, we have a child here that needs A, B, and C. Then of course the schools phone us a lot, and churches, of course, get in touch with us. And then doctors. A GP, for example, in a small town says, listen, I have this patient with me. He needs clap feet surgery, for example. The parents are poverty stricken. Can you guys assist? And then, of course, the people do see us in the field. I mean, we do large medical outreaches in squatter camps in South Africa. We try to do 4 big ones a year. Our next one is the 12th of next month. In a squatter camp, Brondal, near Maastricht, and there we see there's about 650 souls living in a squatter camp, and we see most of them, including the adults. So people do see us around, and like I said, it's quite well known. We are quite well known as far as the organizations in South Africa are concerned, like welfare departments and so forth.
Right. Now, when you're talking about Rwanda, you mentioned the United Nations sitting back on their backsides and doing nothing while everything was going pear-shaped. Yeah. Now, I remember some video from that time where you saw these UN guys watching as basically the one tribe was literally slaughtering the other one, and they just sat there and did nothing. Now, the reason I'm raising this is because there's a lot of conspiracy, and I think there's a lot of truth behind the fact that the United Nations are sort of posturing themselves to become the world government in around the world. This is the Great Reset that you've probably heard Klaus Schwab talk about from the World Economic Forum. Yes. Now, your experience with the United Nations is that you know, their mandate and what they do are two totally different things, isn't it?
Look, I've met him. I can't badmouth them in any other place, but I've met him in a number of countries. My first experience of them was in Rwanda. Then I've also met him in Congo. I was in the Democratic Republic of Congo for 9 years. I've met him there on a number of occasions, and I must say, they didn't impress at all.
Right. So the big media promotions and how wonderful they are is kind of different to the reality on the ground, is what you're saying.
My experience, yes. Like I said, I met him in Rwanda and the Congo, and my experience was definitely different from what they would like you to see on television. I do not know what they do in other countries. Maybe they're doing magnificent work in other countries, but my experience is not. No.
Right. Okay. Well, that's really interesting. I really find that very, very important, because the way they're presented by the mainstream media is like they're the godsend that's going to save the world, and I think that's completely screwed up. Now, okay, let's get back to your current, or your recent escapade, if I can call it that. You got yourself on a tractor. And
yes.
Tell us what was behind you, first of all, choosing a tractor. What made you decide to do this? Because you traveled 2,500 kilometers on a tractor, which must have hurt your backside. I mean, my God, did you have a big fat cushion underneath your bum when you were driving?
Hurting the backside is putting it very mildly, Scott. All right, let me explain to you how the tractor ride actually started. Now, what we do traditionally in South Africa, or our organization, is we have a motorbike ride of 7,000 kilometers all around the borders of South Africa to show unity for the children in the country. And our other ways of collecting funds and fees is, of course, by golf days. We had a number of golf days every year, gala dinners, and those kind of events. But unfortunately, because of COVID, all of those events were cancelled, understandably so. And so forth. So that left us basically without any funding. You have to keep in mind that we do not get 1 cent of funding from the South African government, never have, unlikely ever will. So we have to basically create our own funding. And I was really desperate. We have this number of children that need surgeries. And we had so many children that need medical help, and we were out of funds, and I was kind of desperate. And my neighbor on his tractor actually drove past my property on the way to his macadamia farms, and I thought, well, gee whiz, I can do that. I can't walk backwards up a high mountain. I'm scared of heights. I cannot sail a yacht around the world. I do not have a yacht, neither can I sail, but I can ride a tractor. And that was the way the idea started. And of course, we got a sponsorship from John Deere and Mascor in the area where we're living. And yes, we did indeed ride 2,500 kilometers on a tractor. Now, I must say to anybody listening to this tonight, do not do that, except if you are super seriously annoyed with your wife or with yourself. Right. At 50 kilometers an hour, you feel every single bump in the road. Those things are not built for road travel. Okay,
and not for South African roads with the potholes. No.
I mean, I bounced to the extent that one time I almost fell off the seat of the truck. Because actually I had to put the safety belt on.
No, I have to ask you a technical question here. Because driving at that speed, you basically see the road, you see everything in the road. Where was the biggest pothole you ever came across in South Africa? Do you remember that? And how big was it?
Yes, in the Free State. Well, it's no longer a pothole. It's no longer a pothole.
Is it a lake now?
In Limpopo province, I actually have come to the impression that the guys in certain areas in Limpopo province are animal lovers, because they have this drinking water animals in the middle of the tar road for the convenience of the animals. It is certainly not. a thing that you want to go through on a normal car at speed, you'll definitely hurt your car, your vehicle, and of course yourself. So Limpopo province, in my opinion, had the biggest potholes, and then in certain areas in the Free State, man, it was, I don't know how to say to you, there was 1 million bumps an hour. That's all I can say to you.
And that goes right through your body every time you hit one. I've seen a photo of a woman fishing in one of these potholes.
Yes, they do exist. I mean, the first 1,000 kilometers I drove, I did it physically. And then my physical body just said, no, listen, boy, this is a bad idea. Get out of this machine and phone somebody to pick you up. This is not gonna work for you. And then, of course, after that, the last 1,500 kilometers were basically done mentally. It was a mental race, like any long distance runner probably have.
Yeah.
At the beginning of run physical, and then of course it becomes all mental. And my last 1,500 kilometers were very much mental. I mean, my third day, I was staying at a lodge where people in a B&B, where people actually sponsored my accommodation and the meal. It is very difficult to go to a drive-through of Kentucky with a massive tractor and a trailer. It is not a thing. So the lodges and things that offered me accommodation, of course, luckily for me, also agreed to feed me. And this isn't day free. No, day free for me was the worst. I said to the lady, she told me, listen, dinner will be served at 7 o'clock. I said, thank you so very much. I'm going to just wash my hands and my face, get the bugs out of my teeth, whatever I need to do. And I fell asleep on my bed, and I woke up that evening about 11:30 from the cold, from pure exhaustion. From driving the tractor, because you have to remember your body, for every reaction, there's a opposite reaction. So every time you bounce up, your body wants to bring you down. And so your muscles work absolutely overtime.
Wow.
I mean, as you can see, my beard is gray already. I'm not supposed to be in comfort.
Well, I'm an old fart, so my hair is grey on my head, and when I do have stubble, it's absolutely grey. So I know exactly what you're talking about, but it is what it is. So after the third day, bouncing up and down on this tractor seat, your backside must have been in agony.
My knees was the worst, because every time you start bouncing violently in a tractor because of the unevenness of the roads, then you start lifting yourself slightly from the seat to absorb some of the bouncing. And then, of course, your knees. Now, I weigh 100 kilograms, and you're sitting at this 90-degree angle, so your knees take an enormous amount of strain. And, of course, my neck and shoulder muscles were quite sore as well. At one stage, I couldn't really turn my neck backwards to look what I'm reversing, so I just didn't reverse. Very simply, I couldn't look back. So my shoulders, neck, and my knees took the biggest trouble of all.
So after the first 1,000 kilometers, you were at the point where physically you couldn't continue, but mentally you had to. So for the last 1,500 kilometers, you basically mentally forced yourself through this.
I had two choices. Either I give up, which my body certainly told me absolutely to do, or I let the children that's relying on me to get medical attention, I let them down. And I simply cannot let these children down. I mean, in many cases, these children, we are their last hopes. There ain't no other hope in many cases, which is a sad thing to say in a country like ours, that children sometimes just fall for the cracks and they do not get any medical treatment, and so on. So I made a promise to these children, and I had to fulfill it. I virtually had no moral choice but to complete the 2,500 kilometers by tractor. But that's not the bad news. The bad news is there's another one coming.
You got another ride?
Called the below. Yes, sir.
Gee, you're
called the below. And that is between 4,000 and 5,000 kilometers.
Oh no! On a tractor?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yes.
You love punishment, don't you?
I certainly do. I certainly do. But I have no other choice. There's no other way for us to raise funds. What we do now is we are reaching out to a different group of people, like the farming communities and the co-ops and so forth, which is still, the farming community seems to be able to still support us a little bit, seeing that we also ride in support of an organization that fights against farm murders in South Africa. So they do support us. Your average middle class guy in South Africa simply do not have 100 rand to give you anymore, like they used to in the past. So we have to find other avenues, and the only other plan I have is riding another tractor, even if it kills me. I have absolutely no choice. People will say, listen, why don't you get a younger guy to do it? Gee, if you know a younger guy is willing to drive 4,000 kilometers in a tractor, please send him my way.
Have you thought of walking instead?
So, I mean, it's just something that we need to do out of pure desperation, and we have no other means of generating funds that I'm capable of doing. Like I said, I can't sail a yacht around the world. I simply cannot sail.
Yeah.
I can't backwards up Mount Kilimanjaro. I'm scared of heights. So tractor ride is what we have to do, and it seems to be working, and people seems to be supportive of it, which I'm very, very grateful for.
Now, how much money did you raise through your first tractor journey, your 2,500 kilometers?
We don't know yet. We'll know on Friday. A lot of people make pledges, but I first have to finish the ride, which I did on Saturday. So people are starting to pay us now as from Monday. So hopefully by Friday we will have a good idea how much we raised. But it looks like it's quite below what we hoped to raise. We hope to raise 250,000 rand because we have 3 specific children that we really want to have surgery. And a number of people have asked me on the road, but how do you choose the child? No, I don't. I take the top 3. That's how we choose. And those children really need surgery. And up to now, it does not look like we're going to make our target of 250,000 rand. I don't know how much it is in your currency. Can't be that much, but we have to just keep on trying. Because we didn't make the full amount here doesn't mean I can stop. We have to just keep on going.
Now, people can make donations through your website, can they?
Yes, of course, but not only financial donations. We always ask for doctors as well.
Yeah.
If there are doctors living in far off towns within South Africa that think that, listen, I can do 2 pro bono patients a year. If you're a general practitioner, you think, okay, I can do one every 6 months or every 3 months or even once a month. To please get in touch with our office. And then if we do get a call from a town, from people in your town, then of course we can refer the patient there for immediate treatment. Right now, we have to go through a whole story if we don't have a doctor in a town to get a doctor and and get the thing going. So if there are doctors listening to this, please, guys, if you feel like you've been blessed in life and you feel like you can help a child or 2 children a year, please, we do need you. But also hospitals. If hospitals feel that they can support maybe 1 or 2 pro bono surgeries per year as part of their welfare programs, please get in touch with us and look at our website. There's a volunteer form there, and please fill it in, or phone our office. And then, of course, the financial donations is always critical for us. Like I said, we don't receive any assistance from the state for reasons which I rather not discuss, as that is a political, and we're a non-political organization. But yes, without money, people. I always say, doctors do not treat patients. Money does. You can have 6 or 7 or 8 of the best doctors in the country standing next to your bed. If we do not have any medication to give you, if we do not have a surgery to offer you, if we do not have a solution for your problem, except verbal sympathy, then it's not worth much. So unfortunately, money saves lives, not doctors. We're just instruments that can use that funding to be able to help children.
Yeah, I think a factor that exacerbates the situation is that the public health system in South Africa is a complete and utter disaster. So, you've got to try and get
Yes.
people into private hospitals, which aren't much better, but they are better. And it must be really hard being a doctor in South Africa.
It can be very, very frustrating. Yes, depending on where the areas you live. There's some of the government hospitals, which I must say have some small pockets of excellence. A department that is absolutely fantastic. There's not compared to the rest of the organizations, and so forth. And that is all to do, in my opinion, of management. If one department can be such a pocket of excellence, why cannot all the departments be at least of a high standard? But like I said, unfortunately for us, it is what it is, and we have to. An organization such as ours, in reality, should not actually have to exist. Really.
Yeah.
If you live in a country like Switzerland or Denmark and any of those countries, my wife is from Holland, even from Holland. An organization like mine or like ours doesn't have a space or a place in that country.
They don't need it.
And it will be absolutely fantastic if I can actually work myself out of a job. I mean, how awesome will that be if we don't need to drive tractors around the country to get a child into
I'm thinking of your backside.
Yeah.
And your knees. But look,
yes, absolutely.
The big problem in these public hospitals is called cadre deployment. They put in someone who doesn't know what they're doing, rather than using meritocracy, which is the only way to go to actually run a big hospital.
Yes. Look, I've built a number of hospitals in Congo. I built 4. I grew up in hospitals. I know my way around hospitals. And a hospital works on a very simple principle. It must be the best guy money can buy for a job. And that must be the only criteria to put a person in a position. And it must be his qualification, but not only his qualification, also his natural abilities and skill.
Yeah.
And not for any other reason. There are many very skilled doctors in South Africa. Many, I know many of them. I mean, I know our community, many skilled people, but unfortunately, like you say, the wrong people get put into positions that they certainly have no place in being in, and they're certainly not, in some places, not qualified to be in.
Yeah. Now let's get back to your past tractor ride. You went through 5 provinces. Tell me which provinces you went through. You mentioned the Free State. You mentioned Limpopo. Where else did you go?
Right. We start in Mpumalanga, of course, where we are. So we rode from Mpumalanga up north, and that is into the Limpopo province. And that's where we have these animal-friendly potholes in the road, where you can actually, it looks like a waterhole in the park. And then from there, we went to the northwestern province. We went to through my town where I grew up in, called Costa, which is a very small little town. And it was actually very interesting when I went there. I haven't seen some of these guys since I was 18 years old. So after the official dinner in the evening, which some of the farming unions organized, some of my school friends said, listen, can we meet you in the morning for breakfast? Just, man, that will be absolutely fantastic. I haven't seen you guys in 40 years. So the next morning I went to the place where we agreed, and I walked in and I said, there's just a lot of old people here. The guys are not here. So I went to one guy and said, listen, I'm looking for A, B, and C. And the guy said, that's me. I said, you have to be kidding me. You're an old guy. So then it slowly dawned on me that, you know what, they actually phoned their wives immediately after they saw me and said, listen, this guy is going, man, you must see how he looks like. So I had a fantastic breakfast with a group of geriatrics, which I have to say I completely fit in. Right, so then from Northern Province we went to the Free State, and then of course from the Free State we went into KwaZulu-Natal, and then we made our turn back northeast towards Mpumalanga again.
Wow. Now, were there any sort of incidents that you faced on the trip? Because that's a long way. I mean, were
Yes.
there roadblocks and stuff like that?
I had no problems with the police. Everybody I met along the road was actually very, very polite and very, very courteous. And I met a few police that were doing their thing on the road. Not one of them hassled me. Everybody showed me the go. They obviously thought, well, gee, what are you going to say, that guy on a tractor? I mean, what are you going to ask him? So they all waved me through. And I must say, the people along the road was absolutely fantastic. The people that hooted you and say, go dog, go, and people that stand next to the road and say, good man, do it. And you know what, my favorite moments is I was in a small town in the Free State, and I was leaving town Sunday morning early, and there was some lights flashing behind me, and there was this old couple, but I mean old, 80 plus, waving me down, and the auntie got out, the older lady got out, and she says, you have some sandwiches for the road. I mean, how fantastic is that? She heard I was leaving in the morning, obviously read it somewhere, or I don't think she does WhatsApp or Facebook, maybe she does, but she actually got up from wherever she's from, and she stopped me along the road and said, listen, there's some sandwiches for you, please, so you have something to eat for the road. And those kind of things. And that was absolutely awesome. I must say the people that I met along the road were fantastic. I had a guy in the town in Northwestern Province that rode one of these very, very big new double back wheel tractors through a town called Lichtenburg with me. I don't know if you wanted to just show, listen, my tractor is bigger than yours, but it was by a considerable amount. So he actually, him and a couple of farmers drove me out of town and put me on the road and waved me goodbye after giving me a cup of coffee. So the reception along the way, I must say, was very, very heartwarming. And I think that is one of the reasons why I actually agreed to a second ride, which is even much longer, and is going to the coldest place in South Africa, which is called Sutherland. Now, Sutherland is minus, I don't know, the coldest days there, I think, was minus 20, and so forth. And I think the people of South Africa made me to say, yes, okay, I will do it again, without hesitation, because I promise you the reception on the road was absolutely fantastic, and I was very proud to be a South African when I meet these people on the road, and they were all just cheering you on and saying good luck and good doing and all the best. And the farmers at night, the farmer unions, take me out for dinner. I was very bad company. I mean, I was exhausted by the time I get to dinner time, and they gave me dinner, gave me some biltong. You guys call it jerky, I think, some sweeties, and waved me goodbye. And that was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. In Australia, we have a lot of South African shops where they sell Omar rusks and biltong and boerewors and stuff like that. So we got a huge South African expat population here in Australia. Now, getting back to your next tractor ride, I've just got to say, you're a devil for punishment. I mean, you after 1,000 kilometers, you're having to use your mental abilities just to keep going. And now you're going to do 45,000 kilometers. That is insane.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I do suggest that I go and see a very, very good psychologist and psychiatrist simultaneously. But my wife, I've got not so polite names for what I'm going to do. But you know what? On the other hand, it is working. And I have no choice. I mean, there's so many children that need help. That if I can give them help by riding a damn tractor, I'm willing to do that. And I don't have any other skill that I can offer them, or any other way of getting finance to get them their surgeries and the medication that they really need in the field.
Yeah, I have a couple of ideas.
So yes.
seeing you're going to
Sure.
be traveling so far, I've got a couple of ideas for your places to go and visit. And one of those is to go and drive up to the Rupert's farmhouse and just sort of, blow the hooter and try and get his attention and say, hey, Tidas, come and donate some money for the children. And do the same thing with the Oppenheimers, because these guys, I mean, it's not even petty cash for them. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, and this is just an open challenge, and I understand if you don't accept it. There's this pass called the Ongeluksnek Pass. Have you heard of it?
Yes, I have. Yes.
The one in East Griqualand.
Right. Yeah. I'm familiar with the place. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you go to Matatiel, which is sort of like near the Drakensberg, and then you follow this road, and you go past this beautiful old. It's like a mission station with a cathedral, and it's just absolutely stunning. And you from there you go up the Ongeluksnek Pass, and that pass, I don't think even a tractor would go up that pass.
Right. Yeah.
That takes you into Lesotho.
Yes. I'm a very big 4x4 fan. If ever I get time, that's what I do for a hobby. So I know Lesotho well. I do it. I especially go there when it's ice on the road. I like the ice on the road kind of challenges and so forth. So there's some very interesting places. But luckily, hopefully the tractor I'm riding, I haven't seen it yet. I hope it's not a little thing that you cut off with. I hope it's quite. I mean, it's minus 20 degrees in Sutherland from time to time. I hope it's got a cabin.
So are you going in the middle of winter? Are you? You're doing this in the middle of winter.
Yes, that's why it's called the Zero. We're riding on, I think it's the 2nd of July or 16th of July. 16th of July, I think, and that is almost 5,000 kilometers. We haven't confirmed all the distances yet, because towns are just too far apart to reach in a day by tractor. I mean, you can comfortably do 200 kilometers a day in a tractor. Anything more than that is really torture and punishment at levels I cannot tell you on live broadcast. It scrambles things that is not supposed to in the for the next one.
I don't want to go there.
I am. Yes, exactly. So 200 kilometers is basically the max that you can travel comfortably in a day at 50 kilometers an hour, with some stops to chat with people and detours and roadblocks and all kind of things that will fall your way. So it should be between 4,500 and 5,000 kilometers, depending on the final routing.
So that's going to take you about 25 days.
Yes. And that is going to be sponsored by another organization, not by John Deere. So I have not seen the tractor, like I said. I hope it's something really, really comfortable, comes with a
padded seat.
And not some old tractor that they had in the back of their shed for 40 years. So we hope it's got air conditioning in, and power steering will help a lot. I mean, I'm not exactly Arnold Schwarzenegger, so power steering helps a lot.
Well, I tell you what, if it's got a metal bucket seat, then you're in trouble.
I'm gonna fake a disease. What can I say? I'm gonna just say, listen, I think I've got COVID contact. I can't go.
I love your spirit, Andre. I love your spirit. I mean, wow, that is quite extraordinary. So, okay, we've talked about your past tractor ride and your one that's coming up, and also that you're quite insane. I think that's self-evident.
My wife is nodding her head vigorously, so obviously she agrees.
Now, what other kind of fundraisers do you do for children?
Right. Normally, when there's no COVID, we have golf days, which is very, very popular and very traditionally. Then we have gala dinners. We have a hospital group here called Busamet, a hospital group, and they organize the most amazing gala dinners with arts and music evenings and those kind of things. But all of those gatherings, all of the big public gatherings are closed down in South Africa. We concentrated in the past on sporting events, with the local rugby team, the Kuma rugby players, which are provincials. But these things are all closed down. So what we are left with now is we are left with the motorbike ride, which I really enjoy. That's 7,000 kilometers, and it happens every February. It's called the Ride for a Child. And that one is quite well received and quite well known already. This is our third year. And then, of course, the only other thing that we really have that seems to be attracting the kind of attention that we need to help children is the tractor ride. So that's all that we have, I'm afraid. We have nothing else in the pipeline that we can legally do. Right.
Now, do you have Skype on your mobile phone? Because I guess you take your mobile phone with you when you go on your tractor, don't you?
Yeah, we do have the Zoom. Yeah, we have Zoom. Yes, Zoom meetings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The reason I was asking is because it would be quite cool to, cover what you're doing from time to time on our channel on live stream. So if you, for example, come into an event in, say, Bloemfontein or something like that, just to do a bit of coverage for you,
Absolutely, yes. It will be fantastic sharing with you guys what I see and what I experience in Australia, like you correctly say. And it'll be fantastic for them to see maybe a town that they grew up in or a town that they're familiar with. And so on. And I'll be very, very happy to do that. And maybe some of them think that, let's send €5 or $5 to the children. And then, but what I always suggest to people to do is don't take my word for it. Really don't. Go look at our website, do your research. And check out the NGO that you decide that you may want to sponsor. Research them. Check if what the guy is telling you is absolutely the truth and nothing but the truth. So do your research, and if once you're satisfied that things are the way it is said to be, then if you still feel like helping, then please go ahead. But I have to say that you have to do your research when you want to help a NGO in South Africa. There's a lot of, I don't know how to put it politely or politically correct.
Scammers.
A lot of, yes, that's the correct word. Thank you for helping me, Scott. There's a lot of scams going on, and they use sick people to scam people out of money.
Yeah.
And that is a shame. I mean, that is something that I don't know what kind of personality can think of using a sick child to scam people out of money. But so please, guys, please do help the people in South Africa and Africa. Please do. We really need your help. But at the same time, for your own benefit, research the organization. I mean, Dr. Google is fantastic. Don't Google any medical symptoms, but Google the organization that you're planning to assist, and make sure that everything is kosher.
Yeah. Now, have you heard of the charity called Go Purple?
No, I have not. No, I have not.
Okay, I'm going to ask Marlena to put you in touch with Inari du Plessis. Now, I'll tell you a bit about Go Purple. They have a charity in Pretoria, and they specifically help young children.
Okay.
And what they do is they go out into places like the squatter camps where children are being abused, or where there's they get a lot of reports of abuse of children in homes and stuff like that, and they go in and they intercede, because my understanding is the social welfare system that's supposed to be involved in helping parents or helping children whose parents are abusing them is worse than useless. Apparently that phone number you phone, no one ever answers it, and this is why you've got organizations like Go Purple who do this sort of work. So
Yeah.
if you're interested, I'll put Anari in touch with you because she's a fantastic lady.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
If we can help each other, if we can supplement each other, absolutely. I must say, violence towards children, excuse me, is absolutely a plague in South Africa, or not in South Africa, in Southern Africa.
Yeah.
GBV, gender-based violence, is absolutely something that it's unheard of anywhere else in the world, and it's been much exacerbated with the COVID lockdown. We have found, and myself found, and my organization has found that many children and women, when you go and deliver food parcels, or you do your monthly or 2-monthly visit to them, they are misused and abused physically, as in seriously, and so forth. And we found that during the COVID lockdown, I think the frustration inside of the family unit, whatever the case may be, I'm not a psychologist. I don't understand all these things. People become very violent. Is it out of frustration? Is it because they are now locked in a little room with all the children and their wives?
Yeah.
But they become very abusive, and I've seen it firsthand that children in squatter camps are sometimes severely beaten, and the wives as well.
I've heard that some single mothers actually sell their children to Nigerians.
I've heard a story. I can't confirm or otherwise, but yes,
it happens. Yeah, it does happen. And then they go and buy drugs. I mean, it's just, I can't believe the mentality of people like that.
Yes, there's some things are genuinely above my comprehension. I mean, I've got a simple mind. Obviously, I don't understand these things. How a mom can sell her child is absolutely, I don't know how they can do that. To actually go through with it and actually see your child leaving. And for a fact that this is the last time I'm ever going to see this boy. That must absolutely be a terrible thing. So I don't understand the psychology behind some people. I probably never will. I mean, I'm a simple surgeon, so I don't understand the psyche of the human so well.
Yeah, now there's something I'd like you to just confirm or just throw it away as a conspiracy that I've heard that is incredibly disturbing when it comes to children. And that is that there's a thing called adrenochrome. Have you heard of that substance that's actually extracted from young children, from their blood? And then
no, I have not.
Okay, well, I would love you to check to see if this is actually happening, because it sounds shocking in the extreme. It could be a complete conspiracy theory and not actually happening, but this is why I'm raising it with you, because you deal with children. If anyone knows whether it's true or not, you would. Now, we had a guest on a couple of months back, and they said that amongst the type of abuse that children are put through is these, I don't know what to call them, that they're completely, that they've got no moral compass, but they actually torture the children so that their adrenaline increases in their blood. Then they basically take all the blood out of these kids, and then they apparently sell it to people who are super wealthy in the US. It's called adrenochrome, and I believe you can actually buy it on Alibaba and shopping sites like that. It's very expensive, but it's supposed to keep old people younger. Now, this could be a complete and utter fabrication, and this is why I wanted to raise it with you. It's interesting you've never heard of it, because that tells me it's just a complete fabrication.
I most certainly hope it is, yes. But no, I've never heard of it. But I'll definitely, now I'm aware of it, I will definitely ask around in the areas we go into, and people like to talk about other people's doings,
Yeah.
So I will certainly ask around, because now I am quite interested in finding out.
Because it's got to be stopped. If it is happening, it's got to be stopped. It's just shocking beyond belief.
Absolutely. I mean, anybody, children, when we all have children, and sometimes you really feel like, geez, like, I just want to do something terrible to this child because he misbehaved. My children specialized in throwing tantrums in shopping centers. That was their specialty. At home, they were very well behaved. They were really well behaved little people. In the cars, they were well behaved until they get to a shopping center. And then, of course, it's like the little devil goes into them. So myself included, think, gee, I've got to do something horrible to you if you don't stop.
Yeah. No.
But don't actually do that. So people that actually,
Yeah. You carry on, Andre. People.
No, people that actually do harm children. If you're a 6'2" guy and you hit a 3-year-old, I mean, really now, how brave can you possibly be to molest a 3-year-old child? If you want to molest somebody, take a guy your own size.
Exactly.
If you really want to do things. But a drunk guy or a big guy, a guy my size, I mean, what possible defense does a small child have against a person my size? Absolutely nothing. So I get super defensive as far as children are concerned. I love children and I love old people. It is the ones in between that sometimes work on my nerves, which is probably not a politically correct thing to say. But yeah, children should be heard and never hurt.
Yeah.
And so forth. And that is one of the reasons why I really want to fight for the children of South Africa. Is because they do get hurt. They do get neglected. They do have parents which should never have had children. They're not capable of even looking after themselves. Nevertheless, 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 12 children. That shouldn't have happened, but it did happen. And it's not a child's fault that is there. It is not a child's fault that his father is an idiot, or his mother is a drug addict, or a prostitute, or whatever the case may be. All a child needs, in my opinion, is love and enough food, and he'll grow up by himself.
Yeah.
And if I can help a child with enough love and enough food, give them a chance, man. Children don't ask for anything; they only ask for a chance.
Yeah.
If a guy turned out to be a criminal one day when he's big, that is his choice. But at least give him a chance to make the choice of what you want to do. At the same breath, he can become a teacher or a doctor or a lawyer. And if you can help a small child to prevent him from starving and becoming growth stunted, and give him a chance in life, that's all the little guy asks you. Give him a chance and let him live his life the best he can. Are they all going to be saints? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But 19% of them will turn out to be very, very good people to a country, very good citizens, and normal people doing a daily job like you and I. Yes, a certain percentage of them, of course, will go the other way, but that's anywhere in the world. That is just humanity. A certain percentage of people will do X, and a certain percentage of people will do Y. So a lot of people ask me, but these guys are going to become criminals one day. How do you know it's going to become a criminal? All he needs is a bit of love and enough food. The growing up he'll do himself, and he needs a chance. And you know what? If I can give him a chance to make his own decisions when he's an adult, then I've succeeded. Because once he's 18 years old, he's out of my hands. And I'm totally passionate about helping our children who absolutely cannot help themselves. They're defenseless. I mean, from a baby that's 2 days old, been thrown in a dustbin.
Shocking.
Yeah, and those things happen. And if I can help them in any way or form, even if it means I have to drive a tractor, like a person not so well, then that's what I will do. Well, because I don't have another way of helping them.
Yeah, just on how we can help promote your tractor ride. What I'm going to suggest is that when there's a major event that comes up on your ride, or when you're going to be at a major town or city like Bloemfontein or something like that, perhaps once a week we can do a special live stream covering what's happened since we last spoke to you, and then covering any events that are happening at that time. And if you can just speak to Marlena, and she'll set that up. And the best time for me, because I have a crazy I have a crazy life. Okay, I don't have a life. I get up at 2:30 in the morning to do the live streams, because I'm in Australia, so we're 8 hours ahead of you. So the best time for me to do live streams is sort of like between 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. in the mornings, because that's when it's sort of getting to late afternoon my time. So let's have a play with that, and you know, I'm very happy to help you promote what you're doing through our channel. The other thing that we can do, of course, is I'll ask Marlena to get Inari to contact you, or perhaps you can contact Inari from Go Purple, because she, as I say, she's an amazing woman. I think you'll find her quite inspirational. And
one question: ride a tractor?
Can she drive a tractor? Oh, I bet she can. She can do anything.
This is my kind of girl.
And she has purple hair. Bright purple hair.
Right on.
But she's a real dynamo. Now, how can people listening to this live stream now help you? What sort of things can people do to help you in your organization?
Right. We need, of course, financial assistance for children. Like I said, doctors do not save lives. Money does, which is unfortunately a reality. And even though we have a lot of pro bono work done for us and lots of assistance, we cannot get past the cost of operative cares and those kind of things, which is a reality. You know, although our surgeries will cost maybe a fraction of what yours will cost, it is still very, very expensive.
Yeah.
So we do need financial assistance, but we do need, of course, ideally something that happens every month, long term, so we can plan these kind of things better. And then, of course, if anybody's got medical equipment that he or she no longer uses, we need that. We have a program called disaster response, where we need vehicles, we need ambulances, we need an enormous array of things. And of course, we need the staff to be able to respond to a disaster in, say, Mozambique. So if there's a doctor in Australia that is listening, and he feels like a bit of an adventure, and he wants to fly to Mozambique when the next disaster, which I hope is not going to happen, but with today's climatic conditions, it seems very likely that this is going to become a pattern in our lives, all these massive cyclones and things. So we need all kinds of assistance, you know, and people that can just maybe show us how to fundraise better than we can. I'm honest, I'm a scientist. I don't know much about fundraising. I learn by trial and error. My only benefit is I've been married for a very long time, so I'm used to standing on my knees. That I can do. But
I bet you're getting a whatever look from your wife right now.
So I don't have the skills, and so if there's anybody out there listening and say, listen, I'm retired, or I have time to show you how to write good proposals to the UN or whoever.
Yeah.
Yes, please assist me. I don't profess to have that knowledge, and we really need guys like you to help us with a whole array of things. So people can show us how to do fundraising properly, correctly, how to write proposals correctly. People that want to maybe maybe a retired nurse or whatever. So, and then of course the financial. So there's a whole lot of range of things that people can assist us with, should they decide to do so. Yes.
Now, your contact details. The email is probably the easiest way for people to contact you, isn't it?
Absolutely, yes. We have a fantabulous secretary. Her name is Sarika. She's actually an advocate by profession. She's also a volunteer with us.
Okay.
We are all volunteers. And she is excellent. And the email address there is info,
Yeah.
INF, at pediatriccareafrica.org. One word, pediatriccareafrica.org. And her name is Sarika, and she can certainly help you with any questions.
Right.
She knows the organization better than I do. I basically do what I'm told to do by my wife, so I'm not going to get dinner tonight, you know that.
Okay, so it's info at pediatriccareafrica.org. That's the email.
Or go to the website at www.pediatriccareafrica.org. All the contact details are there. You can make donations by PayPal, by credit card payments, by EFTs. We thought of every single way humanly possible to take your $5 from you. So we make it very, very easy for you to give us your $5 and all the information and all the things we're busy with. And of course, our Facebook should make some interesting reading for people that want to look at the Facebook. On our website, you'll go to Facebook and click on Facebook, and there you can basically see what we're up to. That gives you a bit of an idea of our day-to-day doings of Pediatric Africa, what we're up to and what we're doing.
Right. Now, Fiona Timms has said in the side chat, I can write well and am happy to help. Now, Fiona's an avid writer. She's written many books. So I'll just get Fiona, if you can email Andre, that'd be fantastic. And Marlene said that she has sent you Anari's number. That's a lady from Go Purple.
Okay.
So, and
right.
I believe that's been sent to your PA. So she should have that number there. I'm just also seeing, okay, to Sharika. Okay. All right. That's great. All right. Look, I admire you, Andre. I mean, I couldn't do that. I couldn't. I know how. I've been on a tractor for about 2 kilometers, and after 2 kilometers, I know I've got a bony backside, but gee, it's like I don't know how you and to do 4,000 to 5,000 kilometers on a tractor. That is. I'm just not going to go there.
I will. Hopefully, I'm lucky enough to meet a very pretty physiotherapist on the way. She's very politically angry.
You're going to be in so much trouble tonight.
Wish. Better I stop chatting with you now, because I feel myself sinking deeper and deeper here.
I'm sure your wife knows you well, and
yes. But I sense of humor.
Look, I can tell you that people in the side chat love your sense of humor, and it's great to chat to someone like you, because it's fun. Sometimes doing a live stream can be hard work. You sit there and you ask a question and you get a no, and that's your answer. You got to start. It can be really hard work.
Yeah. But you have to have a sense of humor. If you don't have a sense of humor, I mean, a guy in my profession, what we do, if you don't have a sense of humor, do not do what I do. You'll become depressed. Absolutely, you will. You have this continuous worry about money. I wake up at night thinking, geez, where am I going to get money for this boy's this? And I never had that problems for my own children. Then I was a fairly successful medical professional, so I never had that worry. But now I have this continuous worry about other people's children.
Yeah.
And many of them. Last year we did 320 children. Took 320 children to doctor at the cost of about 1,400 rand per visit. Wow. Including the medication and whatever goes with it.
Yeah.
And this year, we've surpassed 300 already. So we expect this year to be more than double than last year, partly because of COVID and the lockdown, and so many people have lost their jobs. That is absolutely terrible. And also, as we get, people get to know us and so forth, then of course more and more people contact us, which is fantastic. But the more people we can help, the more children we can help, of course, the better.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that takes a whole lot of money and effort and all kind of other skills.
Okay, fantastic. Andre, I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. And look, I'll leave it with you and Marlena to set up how and when we do your coverage of your next tractor trip. And yeah, it's going to be a blast. It's going to be fun.
Absolutely. I normally do my radio talks about 8 o'clock in the mornings before I get on a tractor. Most radio stations in South Africa speak to me just after the morning news, which is about 8 o'clock. So anything before then, which you say between 7 and 8, your time, and then apparently it's good for you.
Yeah.
That will be absolutely work out perfectly okay. And if there's any of your listeners out there much younger than me that want to ride a tractor for 4,500 kilometers, please contact me at info@pediatriccareafrica.org. I have no ego. I'm willing to swap you anytime, anyplace, anywhere.
Okay, there you go. There's an open challenge to someone young and fresh, who wants to take on the challenge. I don't think they'll be young and fresh by the end of the 4,500 kilometers, but anyway.
I wasn't born grey. I became grey on the tractor, I think.
Yeah. All right, Andre, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And so just tell me, when you're actually starting on your next tractor ride, what's your time frame?
I think it's the 16th of July. Somehow I think that is the date that we've decided on, which will be on a Saturday. If I could just look at my calendar here, I can tell you if I'm correct or not. If you can excuse me for half a second.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, I've got
the 18th of July. I see now the 18th of July, which is on a Sunday, and that's where it is booked to start. And we will be between 4.5, around about 5,000 kilometers. Anybody that knows South Africa, we're leaving, of course, from Mpumalanga, going all the way up to the coldest town in South Africa and back. And from here, as the crow fly, is 1,490 kilometers. As the crow fly. Unfortunately, I'm not a crow. I have to take all the
You've got to go on a bouncy tractor.
Yes, and of course we can't go on the toll roads or the national roads either. So we have to go on the smaller roads, because it's illegal here to drive a tractor on a toll road and so forth. So we have to go on the side roads, roads, so to speak. That will basically make it about 1,900 kilometers there, and of course we don't come back the same route. We also, go into other provinces, so it will be about between 4.5 and 5,000 kilometers once we've calculated all the distances. So that's a massive distance. I'm getting cold sweats already thinking of it. But it's what we have to do, and that's what we have to do. And that, I don't have another plan, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So, and that plan seems to be working. So, and I believe in keep it simple, Simon. And if it works, do not change it. So I'm willing to do it. And we have a target of 750,000 rand.
Wow.
For that ride already, and that is going to be. Let me explain to you quickly the last 3 children that we rode for.
Yeah.
The one is a little girl, well, not a little. She's 16 years old. She was born without a palate. She's not a cleft palate as you will know it. She had a lip, but the palate was missing, and of course some of the bones on the side of the face was absent. So she cannot eat any sort of foods. If she eats something like rice, for example, it will go into ear canals and channels and so on. And the boy, and that should have been fixed when she was small.
Yeah.
Really, should have been fixed many years ago. And now we cannot fix that anymore. Now we have to basically put in a false roof of the mouth for her and so forth. And I mean, she's now 16, and a girl age 16 does not deserve not to have the roof of her mouth, really, because in the time and age we're living in, that should have been taken care of when she was small, a child. She's now a young lady. I mean, and the other boy, he actually is even worse as far as I'm concerned. He's 7 years old now, very shy little guy. His tongue is grown to the bottom of his mouth. No, it's not that uncommon. And normally the doctor picks it up just with the post-birth examination. Apparently it wasn't picked up. Then you can just snip. Now, of course, his mouth is completely distorted. He's very, very shy. His tongue doesn't move properly. His saliva glands doesn't function properly. His tongue is actually pressing on them, so he's got a continuous halitosis, which is bad breath and those kind of things. And they tease him a lot. He's a small little 7-year-old guy, and they tease him a lot. And another gentleman that we rode for, he was actually run over by a vehicle, snapped his tendons, but he got this massive gapping and festering sore on the front of his leg. That is the exact spot in the bone that we actually have to drill the hole through to touch the tendon again, and that of course cannot happen before that has been debrided surgically. So he actually needs 2 surgeries. This young man, and he was in a state hospital, and he actually become quite infected and things there. So, and those are the 3 people I rode for this route. And like I said before, I didn't choose them. I take the top 3.
Yeah.
So the next ones we're going to ride for is going to be 5 children, and one of them is the most beautiful little girl you've ever seen. Absolutely gorgeous little girl, and she's got horrific club feet. And I would really like her to walk down the aisle one day when she gets married, because every girl really deserves to look like to walk down the aisle when you get married. Maybe I romanticize little girls or something, because I have little girls as granddaughters. But even more than boys, they should look their best, and we should help them to look their best. Yeah. Especially if it's within our capability and ability, and things that should not have been allowed to happen in 20th century. Those are surgeries that is commonplace. Those are surgeries well researched, well practiced, well performed all over the world by thousands of surgeons, except it didn't happen to the children for a number of reasons, and we really want to see if we can do something to change that for them.
Okay. I've got a couple of comments here in the side chat I just want to run past you. Marius says, if Dr. Andre can do a trip with a Faljapi, he will be a bigger hero. What's a Faljapi?
It's a very little tractor. It's most probably the most inconvenient tractor ever invented. It's one of the first tractors. It's a grey color. That's why it's called Fal. Fal means grey in English. It's a very basic little tractor. I think the top speed is probably 7. I don't know how fast these things can go. They have this tiny little engines, and I definitely won't be a hero. I will be dead if I have to drive this with a Faljapi. I happen to know a Faljapi. I actually had one. I used to cut my horses, the grass for my horses with one.
And there's another question here. Did the tractor get an hour meter or a kilometer meter? How many hours did it take? I think he's talking about your last 2,500 kilometers.
I don't know the hours. I never actually learned how to switch on the computer that shows you the hours. But yes, my average speed was 30 kilometers an hour. I actually waiting for the gentleman from John Deere to tell me how many hours it took, because it'll be right. Very interesting for me to know. Apparently, it's very, very simple to see the number of hours you rode, except I have no idea which little button to press to see that. But as soon as I know, I'm happy to share it with him, because I'm quite keen to see how many hours. Because my average daily travel was between 9 and 11 hours a day in a tractor, which was quite torturing.
Oh, after half an hour, you must be bouncing up and down, and you know, I admire you. I couldn't do it. I tell you, I just couldn't do it. Physically, I couldn't do it.
You just have to, believe that you can and do it. That's the way I did it. And my wife said, listen, when I left, my wife said, listen, you can go and play with your little tractor for 2 weeks, but you must make sure that on Saturday you're home before 1 because I'm cooking lunch. So I was at home at the shopping center where we departed just before 1 o'clock. So I was no trouble there. I was home in time for lunch. So she does allow me to go and play with my little tractor.
But I bet you couldn't sit down. I bet you had to eat standing up.
It was something else. But the reception we got coming back was absolutely magnificent. I was actually I'm not a guy to get touched too easily after lifetime in medicine. But then the people's warmth and welcome was absolutely heartwarming. It was fantastic, and I actually at one stage had a bit of a thing in my throat, and I thought, gee whiz, these guys actually leave their lives and they come and stand next to the road for you, and that is something freaking awesome. That people leave their lives and they stand in the sun, wait for me to pass them with a tractor, and I think that is showing something of the South African people that I really appreciate, and I was very touched by that, and it was awesome. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Alrighty, Andre, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I know we're going to be seeing a lot more of you on the Loving Life channel, and keep up the fantastic work that you're doing.
Scott, thank you so much, and thank you very much for tonight. And I mean, the reality is, without people like you, we're just a website. So we really appreciate you and what you've done. Thank you very much.
Well, I'll put your website address and email address down below the video in the description, so that people, who watch this video now or later, they can actually just pick up that website address to make donations, or they can just send an email if they can help in a certain way, like, as you say, pro bono work by doctors, or if there's another way that they can help you after our discussion tonight.
Absolutely, and I really appreciate it. And guys, thank you so much, and thank you for having me. It was very, very nice chatting to you. It was very relaxing, and I really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, and I look forward to covering your journey on the road.
Absolutely, looking forward to that. Thanks a million, Scott.
Okay, take care. Bye for now. Okay, guys, that was Dr. Andre Hattingh. What a man! I mean, wow. Can you imagine going 4,500 kilometers on a tractor? As I mentioned earlier, I've got a skinny bum, and I don't think I could do more than about 2 hours in a tractor, and I wouldn't be able to walk anymore. But it is what it is. Guys, I will leave the side chat open for a few minutes so you can say your goodbyes, and I will put the email address and the website address down below the video in the description, so that you can contact Andre direct. Cheers, guys. Take care, and bye for now.